So, if you've been living under a rock, there's a new coaster in town. And not just any old new coaster, it's an RMC. A couple of days ago, Media Day was thrown for this coaster and has been taking the roller coaster industry by storm. Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens Tampa in Tampa Bay, Florida is probably going to be one of the best coasters in the world for a long time. But the question that many are asking is it better than Steel Vengeance, a monstrous RMC located at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio? And for 4 years, this was titled as the best coaster in the world by many. But with Iron Gwazi right here and right now, these two coasters are battling it out to see whoever comes out on top. Is it Iron Gwazi or Steel Vengeance? Even though this argument may take decades to figure out who is on top, or when one bites the bullet, we'll start here. Steel Vengeance stands at a height of 205 feet and a top speed of 74 miles per hour. A drop of 200 feet, 4 inversions, and a duration of 2 minutes and 30 seconds throughout the layout. At the time, this was the tallest, fastest, and longest hybrid coaster in the world. Although it's still the longest, it is not the fastest, tallest, or steepest hybrid coaster in the world anymore. Say hello to Iron Gwazi, the coaster that took all of those records away from Steel Vengeance. And all of them by one. Steel Vengeance is 205 feet tall. This is 206 feet tall. Steel Vengeance is 75 miles per hour. This is 76 miles per hour. Steel Vengeance has a 90-degree drop. This has a 91-degree drop. Do you see where this is going? Now it looks like to me that Busch Gardens Tampa took all the records from Steel Vengeance by one, besides the length, which I have to say is a good move on Busch Gardens' part, because now they can use it for marketing. But let's start getting into the pros and cons on which each coaster has and doesn't have. We'll start with Steel Vengeance. We can say that Steel Vengeance has way more length than Iron Gwazi, a whole 1,700 more feet, providing a longer ride experience on Steel Vengeance. Steel Vengeance has 4 inversions, 2 more than Iron Gwazi, them being 3 0G rolls and 1 0G roll stall. Some pros with Iron Gwazi is that it basically beats Steel Vengeance stats by 1 besides the length, and probably one of the coolest inversions ever seen with that downward 0G roll, or otherwise known as the death roll. But with some downfalls on each coaster, Iron Gwazi has the shorter length, but 4,000 feet is still long. It also has 2 less inversions than Steel Vengeance, which, for me, I like inversions way more than airtime. Now, there really isn't any downfalls with Steel Vengeance, but maybe if I had to pick one, it would be the locker issue. Now, it has gotten way better than it was a couple years ago, or even just last year, but still, it kinda confuses people. I just want to put my stuff in a bin on the other side of the station. But really, there is no downfalls to any of these coasters. They're just really good. But let's continue. If we look at these coasters when we walk into the park, I think Steel Vengeance just looks a little bit better than Iron Gwazi. Doesn't that look beautiful? I also slightly like the paint job on Steel Vengeance just a little bit more. I like that maroon red. But that dark purple still looks really good though. And when was the last time you saw a purple coaster that wasn't Iron Gwazi? But I do have to say, the front lead car on Iron Gwazi looks better than Steel Vengeance. But they still look great. I love how it's an alligator and it's in the shape of it. And that dark green on the purple track looks beautiful too. But I'm a fan on how Steel Vengeance tells a story throughout its queue and what the purpose of the machine is there for. How they're back to take Frontier Town with a Steel Vengeance. And the theming too. I'm big for theming. And I have to say that's something that Iron Gwazi doesn't have a lot of. And right now, every enthusiast and their grandma will say that Iron Gwazi is the better coaster. But the thing is that they just rode Iron Gwazi and Steel Vengeance doesn't open up until a few months. Because Steel Vengeance is located in Ohio. Once us wild enthusiasts get over to Cedar Point for the 2022 season, some of us will probably change our mind on what's the better hybrid. We just gotta give some time to really compare what's the better coaster. Yes, they're both wonderful and beautiful and awesome coasters, but us enthusiasts will compare them to the death to see which one is better. Now, I have not ridden Iron Gwazi and probably won't for a very long time. I would say that Steel Vengeance will probably be the better coaster still, at least for me. Like I said before, I like inversions way more than airtime, and I do like theming a lot too. Even though Steel Vengeance doesn't have a lot, it still has some and it provides a story all throughout Frontier Town. But that is just my personal opinion, and that is all I have to say. Tell me in the comments what you think is going to be better, and if you don't mind, liking and subscribing will greatly benefit the channel. This has been Coasters Every Day, and I will see you later.